Starmer has to say.
Agree on at the outset of this debate. The decisions that are going to be taken by the government over the next few months and years in relation to exiting the EU are going to have a profound implication for the future of this country, for its economy, for its people and for its place in the world. We've probably never seen such a set of significant decisions as are going to be made in this period since the end of the Second World War. Today's debate is about the proper role of Parliament, and this House in particular, throughout that process. It's about scrutiny and it's about accountability. Mr. Speaker, there was one question on the ballot paper on the 23rd of June of this year, and it was this: should the United Kingdom remain a member of the European Union or leave the European Union? The majority of those voting voted to leave. That result has to be accepted and respected, notwithstanding that many, including myself, campaigned for Remain. But that is not the end of the matter. The next and increasingly pressing question is, on what terms should we leave the EU? That question was not on the ballot paper, nor was it addressed in the Conservative Party's 2015 manifesto. There was no plan B in the event of the referendum being concluded with a leave vote. Nor did the Prime Minister set out her terms for Brexit before assuming office, because of the nature of the exercise by which she assumed that office.
No election, no vote.
Nor do we have a white paper setting out the proposed terms. Instead, hiding under the cloak of the prerogative, the Secretary of State has until now declined to give the House a meaningful role in scrutinising the government's opening terms for negotiation. And that matters. Now, I'm glad to see that there is a government amendment down, Amendment B, and that implies that the government is taking a step in the right direction towards scrutiny.
On that point?
Yes, please.
I'm grateful to him for giving way, and I'm sure he welcomes, as I do, the half U-turn that we've seen from the government on this, allowing the debate before Article 50. But what about an actual vote? I'm concerned that the amendment in front of us doesn't mention a vote of this House before Article 50 is triggered, and that part has to be crucial.
I'm grateful for that intervention, and I will come on to the question of vote, because I think that is important. But let's take one step at a time. There's scrutiny and there's accountability. And the first question is whether the Secretary of State is prepared to put before the House the plans so that the House can see them and debate them. There is then the next question, which is what can the House do about it, which is accountability. I hope that the amendment which has been tabled today indicates that the government is going further down the route of scrutiny than they've been prepared to so far. And if they are, I'm not going to crow about it, because I think that's the right thing to do, and it's in the national interest. And we all have a duty to make sure that we get the right, result for the country.
Labour is going to set out how they would handle the negotiation.
We're not in government, that's me. We'll go over there and do it if you want.
I would happily swap places with the Secretary of State and play a part in the negotiation. But we are not in government, nor did... I'll answer the first intervention, please. Nor did we have, in our manifesto, a referendum without a plan for exit. And we need to be clear at the beginning of this exercise where responsibility for the position we find ourselves in today lies. And it lies with a previous Prime Minister and a government that had no plan for a no vote. That is why we're here today. I can only give way to one person at a time.
I thank the honourable member for giving way. And you mentioned the terms, the terms of our exit and also national interest. Now, I come from a business background, and I'd love to get his sense on his approach to a successful negotiation. Does he believe the national interest will be best served by the government coming to this place and explaining in precise detail all its negotiating positions before we've even walked into the room?
Well, I will deal with that because that's obviously an essential question that we need to discuss this afternoon. And in a sense, I don't think this should be about point scoring across the House. No, I won't. We're debating a fundamental question. That is whether the basic plans for exiting or for the negotiating position are going to be put before the House or not. That really matters. Of course there's a degree of detail that can't be gone into. Of course there's a degree of flexibility that has to be there in any negotiation. Of course the starting position may not be the end position. We all accept that. We're all grown up. But the question here is whether the basic terms should be put before the House. Of course.
Thank you. I also, like the gentleman, the honourable gentleman over there, had a business background, as of course does the Director General of the CBI, Caroline Fairbairn, and she said at the moment, if the commentary was to read into what we've heard so far, it's that we're heading to something of a cliff edge in 2.5 years. Does he recognise, as I do, there's many people in businesses that are very, very concerned about the lack of commentary and the lack of direction we've got from the government?
I'm grateful for that intervention. There are two aspects of today's debate. Partly there's a political aspect, what is the role of Parliament? There is also the question of uncertainty, because it's absolutely clear that across business, across EU citizens and across the population as a whole, there is great uncertainty about what the plans are, and that uncertainty simply can't be kept in place for the next 3 years. It is growing uncertainty. I'll give way.